Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're up here at the lake. It's a beautiful day. We're gonna go for a ride and we're gonna be reviewing the SMLRO Sonata Roamer 1000 watt e-bike. Now I've had this for a couple months. I've gotten quite a bit of use out of it and I'm pretty familiar with what I like and what I don't like, and so I'm gonna pass that on to you guys. We're going to take a look at the stats and then I'll bring you guys back and we'll take kind of a closer look at it. We'll go for a ride and I'll give you guys more of a detailed look. The Roamer is a 48 volt e-bike outfitted with a 10 amp hour lithium ion battery. It's powered by a 1000 watt hub motor and when unlocked capable of 30 plus miles per hour. The bike does have front and rear suspension, 7-speed Shimano shift components, and mechanical disc brakes front and rear. The overall weight of the Roamer is 64 pounds with a range of 19 to 31 miles depending on which level of assist you decide to use. This bike is outfitted with both a headlight and a horn, and I found the light to be certainly bright enough. You are able to adjust it, and it comes in handy for those conditions where you're coming home late and you just need to be able to see the trail. And a lot of times I'll keep this on, when I'm traveling down the road or a busy trail, just to make myself seen. A lot of these inexpensive e-bikes you'll see with mechanical disc brakes, and that's just what this has. They do function as intended. I've had no issues stopping the bike, but you're not going to have the feel that you get from hydraulic disc brakes, and your stopping force is going to be a bit less. And I found with mechanical disc brakes you're going to find yourself having to adjust them just a little more frequently. The Roamer does have 5 levels of assist that I've found on the highest setting to conservatively keep us moving on flat ground to around 26 miles per hour. Up even some of the steep hills at my 170 pound weight, the bike can pace well around 12 miles per hour, and that's with really minimal amounts of pedaling. I do like to go fast, so most of the time I am on the level 5 assist. And if I'm riding pretty aggressively, I'm still getting just about 20 miles per charge. And that's not bad considering this battery is only 10 amp hours. This bike does move fast on the street and would no doubt go faster with more PSI in the tires. I typically run the tires with a lower PSI. It seems to handle much better in the dirt, as well as giving a much softer ride. Marley and I are just taking a break right now. We've been riding around on some of these trails around the lake and it's extremely muddy. There's a lot of ruts, and I think that's where the beauty of having a fat tire e-bike comes into play. In these areas that have a lot of mud, a lot of ruts, I'm able to lower the tire pressure and get better traction. I don't feel as though I'm going to wash out on some of these turns and going through some of the ruts. And so these tires do work extremely well in these conditions. The Roamer is a very large bike. I can see how it's kind of built for taller guys. I'm up over 6 feet tall, and I still have the seat moved almost all the way down. So if you're a smaller rider, this might be a bit much for you to handle, especially in nasty terrain where you may have to put your feet down quickly. This might not be a bike for you, but for some of you taller guys, you know, it's a lot of bike. And for myself, it's really comfortable. It seems to fit me really well. And along with that, you know, the bike gives me confidence in pretty nasty terrain. I figured some of you guys would ask what I'm using as a crate for Marley. This is a vintage metal milk crate that I've simply just bolted down to the rear rack here. It works pretty well. She's pretty secured in here. I just put some padding in the bottom and along the sides, and we've been using it for a couple months for her, and it seems to be working pretty well. On the side of the frame, this bike does have a latch which allows you to not only access the battery, but it's going to allow you to fold the entire bike essentially in half. Now, I found this bike is still fairly large even when folded, and it's somewhat difficult to maneuver if you were trying to get it into a vehicle. The battery on this bike is removable, and you can charge it inside your house, or you can charge it on the bike itself. It does come with fenders, an instruction manual, 2 sets of keys, and a toolkit. If I knew then what I know now about folding fat tire e-bikes, I probably wouldn't have opted for one. If I really needed a folding bike, I'd probably go with something smaller with 20-inch wheels, and that would make it a little easier for me to get it into my vehicle. As is, I can't fit this in my Jeep, and I can't fit it in my wagon. Now, a lot of these e-bike carriers that you'll see, they're very expensive. Some of them are upward of $500–600 for a reasonably made carrier. I went ahead and I got a motorcycle carrier. I got it for just about 150 bucks on Amazon, and that works just fine for me with this bike, and that still allows me to have room in my vehicle for other stuff like my tents, like my food, my cooler, all that stuff. And so that's one thing you want to consider when you're looking for a e-bike, is really how you're going to transport it if that's something that you need. Really, my biggest complaint is the suspension, which is something I will probably look to upgrade here pretty soon. The rear shock in particular feels as though it's just way too stiff. Maybe if you're a really heavy individual, it might work well for you. But me being 170 pounds, it's just way too stiff. I wish the front suspension had rebound adjustment, but with these large tires, it handles off-road conditions really well. Fire trails, I'm able to lower the tire pressure quite a bit, which gives me a good amount of traction. If you're going to be riding this on the street, you definitely want to put a good amount of pressure in the tires. That's going to give less rolling resistance, and you're going to have less strain on your battery. You're going to be able to go faster, and you're going to be able to get more miles. As is, I'm pretty happy with the mileage that I'm able to get with this on full assist. I have ridden this on the level 1 assist, and you're going to get a lot of miles out of this. I think the most I'd gotten was just about 40. And so this is within specs of what the company advertises as far as how many miles you're going to get. But again, that's going to vary on really how hard you use this bike. I like riding this pretty aggressively. For carrying my dog, you know, a backpack, a good amount of weight, it seems to be more than adequate as far as the mileage. For going out camping, for hunting, cruising back and forth to the store, or just kind of leisurely going around town. This bike works really well. I hope you guys were able to learn more about this bike through my experience in using it. I've enjoyed this bike. You know, it's treated me really well the past couple months. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. If you guys have any questions that I haven't answered, feel free to, you know, leave a comment. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. Or if you guys have other videos that you guys would like me to make regarding this bike, you know, I'm happy to do that. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next one.